Hello everybody. I am going to try and do the tutorial for my foldy journal thingy that I was asked to do. I apologise in advance if I apologise. Please feel free to not watch. This probably will be a very pants kind of how-to tutorial. So on this particular one, I've got a pocket here, and there's a little bell on the corner. There's a little tuck spot there. I've got a paper clip here, and then you turn it over and this becomes a second front, and there are some journaling pages inside with another little journaling tag at the back. So that's what we're going to attempt to make. I will show you how I start. I'm just checking I'm in frame. No. Yeah, right. I've got a very tight working space here because I just could not get the camera set up correctly. It's set up for me doing my flip throughs, and obviously the angle didn't work because I couldn't work upside down. So I make them out of 12 by 12 cardstock cut in half. So this is 6 inches by 12 inches. However, I am currently making a traveller's notebook, the same style. So I've cut that to traveller's notebook size. Kind of, it's a little bit short one side, but so this is Tim Holtz Wallflower, and straight away this is going to throw me because I can't go to the 0 on the inch side of my cutting mat. So I'm going to start here and just check again. That's in frame. Oh, yeah, we're good. So basically what I do is I use my ruler and I work out 4 inches because that is 1/3 of 12. And I did use my scoreboard for this, but it didn't work particularly well. So I score one way using my bone folder, and this is a narrow edge one, and then I will fold it. This one I want this way. So then what I do is I line it up with that edge and just burnish that down. So I've got my laptop on because I don't want to miss Michelle Scott's live stream. So I just want to make sure I catch that. So you've got this kind of tri-fold, double-sided booklet. So I'm actually going to use this one because I have plans for this. So you have to decide which side you would like to decorate and which side you would like to leave. You're going to have 2 front covers. I will have this one on this side and this one on this side, and that will be the equivalent to this, if that makes sense. So you've got your main folder now ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to decorate this. Now I got all of my little elements kind of cut out, prepared, ready and stitched because I didn't want to have to bore you with that on camera. So I have to start with, I have some music paper and this border, and that comes from a sheet of really vintage music paper from 1951. It's really old, it's organ music. So I have that, and let me just pop that over there. I have a little piece of music sheet, the same paper that I've stitched round, and I've stitched round that. So it's a case of deciding what elements you would like and then laying them out how you would like to lay them out. So bear in mind this is going to be my cover. I actually want the corner of that sheet this way up. I've fussy cut out 2 leaves from the Edith Holden book page. I'm not quite sure which way round I'm going to have that, but that's going to be one of my little tuck spots. I've torn round the toadstool. I've fussy cut out some of the Edith Holden mushrooms. I have some butterflies that I can't pick up. Oh, another one I can't pick up. And I have a little ticket. You can fussy cut anything you like, but some of the butterflies, leave my cover there, the butterflies come from this decoupage kit book, which I've had a really long time and not actually bothered to use it, but I found it out when I made the last one and decided that I actually really liked that, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to just pretty much decide where I want things to go. Bear in mind this is going to be my front cover. I really want my toadstools, I think, over here, and I would like to balance out the pink butterfly, so I might have one butterfly on that side. I'll have the black and white one there. Oh, I can't pick them up. It's because I broke my thumbnail. I was moaning about it being too long on a video the other day and I bent it right back. So that's why I can't pick anything up anymore. So I'm just going to kind of have a little play around, decide what I would like. I think I'd want that on my cover actually. Tuck that behind there. So I start with this side first. I don't know if I want that or not. I'm not sure. Right, so I've got a rough idea where I'm going to put everything, so now I'm going to glue them down. And I have this rather lanky old tin that I don't know if you can see. It had garden string in it and I just keep my glue in there upside down. I use the high-tack, there we go. I use the high-tack glue. This is the tacky glue. It is very sticky, exactly what it says on the tin, but it's brilliant stuff. So I hope the lighting is okay because Great British weather, we have a weather warning at the moment for severe rainfall. So I'm just gonna, I stitch this first. Sometimes in my journals I will stitch straight onto the page, but I actually want this, I don't want the stitches on the other side. So on this I'm actually stitched it in the machine first, and I'm going to use my tacky glue to glue it down. The paper on this, it is obviously really old and it's really fragile, so you have to be fairly careful with it. And I'm going to just pop that there, because I think that will makes quite a nice border for the front cover. Oh, do you know, I'm actually shaking. This is really nerve-wracking. It is really, really nerve-wracking. And this is the next biggest element, so I'm going to pop this down next. Just move those out of the way so I won't be able to pick them up later. Just make sure I'm still in frame. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to get this done. Oh, see, I'm not concentrating because I was looking at my laptop. I'm trying to get this done because Michelle Scott is going live at 4 o'clock UK time. So she is going to be making her junk journal from this fabulous kit she received. I can't remember the name of the store. The kit is amazing. So if you want to go and check out the kits that Michelle is going to use this afternoon, if you go to Michelle Scott's YouTube and just click on her links, there is a link there to the shop where the kit comes from. It's absolutely stunning. There's just like real vintage ephemera and bling and gorgeous laces. It's just, oh, that's to die for. So I'm going to glue along the edge of this. This is probably not a tutorial really, this is just a watch how I do something badly. Obviously I take a lot more time, I'm rushing a bit at this because I'm nervous. I'm not really a tutorial person, but I was asked to do it and I said I would, and once I said I would I was kind of held to that because I always do what I say I'm going to do. Whether or not there'll be any more tutorials from me, I don't know. it's really, I don't want to talk too much, but I don't know, what's the protocol? Do you talk? Do you keep shut up? If you're not enjoying, please don't watch. Please just, you know, feel free to go, oh, I can't watch any more of that. Leave. That's fine. As well as fussy cutting these out, I have inked round all of the edges. I haven't inked round the edge of the folder book thingy yet. I'll do that at the end. Just kind of overlap those a little bit there. And I want this. So like I said, this has been taken from the Edith Holden Diary of an Edwardian Lady, which those of you that watch my YouTube clips knows it's one of my favourite books in the whole wide world. So I would normally spend a lot longer laying these out and planning and deciding where to put things if I want it on, but I'm sure you want this over as quickly as I do. So it's really funny because you watch these fantastic artists working live, you know, doing all sorts of lovely things like painting and stamping and really intricate paintings, making junk journals. You know, Michelle, for example, will probably be live for quite a long time, hours rather than, you know, minutes, while she's doing this journal, because she's promised she's doing it start to finish. Haha, hold you to that, Michelle. And you know, you've got to admire them when I'm doing a hopefully fairly quick tutorial or how to, or show you what I've done kind of thing. And you know, it's just not easy. So good on you guys who do these live streams. I'm not sure about this. I think I am. I'm going to pop it there. Oh. Yeah, I think I'm going to pop that there. I've made a bit more mess with the glue than I would normally. I'd usually brush it on, make sure it's done. So that is almost finished our inside spread. Hope you can see that okay. And I hope you're not too bored yet. So what I would do normally is leave this to completely dry before I bend it. So you don't get any bubbles in the paper, but obviously we're going to do that today, so I'm just going to make sure this bends okay. And there we have it, that's our inside spread done. Now what I have done, let's get these out already, is the Wallflower vellum. I don't know if you've seen it. The back pages are all of the bigger images made in miniature. So, and I really love that. So what I've done is prepared my tags earlier. Oh, there was another little element there. That wouldn't have gone anyway. I have taken those vellum squares or rectangles, cut them out, backed them onto tea stained paper and sewn them. Now when I do this, I leave this is actually cartridge paper. I leave it a little bit bigger than I need, and then I trim it down afterwards so I don't get I don't have too many problems when I'm sewing. So I've made 3 journaling cards, and I'm going to decide which one to pop there, which one to pop there, and then which one to put on the other side. Now I actually really like those insects. I think they go quite well with the leaves. I'm not going to pop it in permanently right now, but that's what they are going to be for. So now what we need to do is we need to flip it over, and we need to decorate and create the book side. Now I wasn't a fan of that, so I have a piece of tea stained cartridge paper again. I have sewn onto that some stained muslin, and this is the toadstool image from Edith Holden that I have stitched on. Now I have left a pocket here, and when I glue it down I'm only going to glue the 3 sides, so I'll also have a pocket there, so it will create this. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Again, I'm using the tacky glue. It is really good. It is really good. If I was gluing down the fabric, I would use the High Tack fabric glue. I love this brand. I use it in my mini hot glue gun, the High Tack. And I use the fabric glue, and I use the tacky glue, and I use the normal PVA glue. So I'm a big fan of the High Tack brand. So if I use the appropriate glue. So basically, if I'm using fabric, I'll use the fabric. If I'm using paper, I'm sticking with paper, I'll use the High Tack. So I'm just going to turn that over and make sure that's nice and flat. And obviously, like I said, you give all this time to dry, but we haven't got time. So I did most of the preparation, but there's only so much you can do. So the last thing we have to do, which is going to be a little bit dodgy while this is still so wet, is sew in our signature. So I've cut all of these. Basically, this is an A4 sheet that I folded in half and cut to make it A5. I've made the signature, and then what I've done is just trimmed off about 1/2 centimetre or so it fits inside here. I'm a little bit worried that all this glue is still so wet. So that is an A5, pretty much an A5. I've just, like I said, trimmed about 1/2 centimetre off. So I would normally measure this. So I grab my ball, I line it up so it's quite nice. I'm lucky because I've got lines on this paper, so you can judge halfway fairly easily. That's about there. So I've got a massive dictionary that I do proper signatures in, but because this is so small, I'm able to just poke a hole in there, and then roughly come in a couple of centimetres from the top and the bottom. So there we go, we've got our 3 holes to sew in our signature. Now I have my little sewing tin. I'm just going to grab, I'm going to use a fairly small embroidery needle for this. Put that there, and I'm using some green embroidery thread. If I'm making a traveller's notebook insert, I would use my waxed linen thread because I find that a lot more secure when you're making a larger journal. So let's cut that, thread my needle with all my glue over my fingers. I would obviously go and wash these ordinarily in between doing stuff like this. There we go. So, and now it's a case of sewing the signature in, and I'm sure most of you know how to do this. So I go in through the middle. You have to be really careful with this wallflower paper as well, or card, because it is very thin. If you pull everything too tight, it puts holes in. And why can I not find my hole? Because I'm doing this on camera. No, where is it? Oh, I'm really sorry, I can't find a hole. Oh, where did that go? It's going to be about there somewhere. There we go. Right, try again. I'm actually surprised this hasn't been a disaster, you know, from start to finish. It's not going as bad as I thought until now, when I've seen it completely wrong. Oh, here There we go. Right. This is why I do not do tutorials, because I cannot be trusted to do things like this on camera. I just can't. I can only just be trusted to do things like this off camera. And you probably can't see any of this now. Why does it go wrong? There we go. Right, let's try again. Through the signature. Through the first one. And this is where I pull it all the way through quite often. Okay. So through there. You did ask for this, guys. Some of you. So just remind you of that. This was not completely my choice. I just agreed because you were being very nice and you asked. You won't be asking again, will you? No. Right, then we go through the final one. It is absolutely true that nothing goes right when you've got a camera looking at you. And there's the final one. It's nearly over, guys. Right, so I've got a string coming up in the middle to the left of this, so I want to hold that just over there. I'm going to go back through that same hole without trying to go through the embroidery thread, and then back through that signature, but I want to come up now on the other side of that centre cotton. Right, and like I said, you don't want to pull this too tight. You want it tight enough to hold it into place, but not too tight that it's going to rip this cardstock. Other cardstocks are much more sturdy. The Tim Holtz Wallflower is much more of a thick paper. So there we go. And do you know what I've done? it should have been sewn. No, it's right. It's right. Oh, panic over. Sorry, ignore me. Right, I'm going to cut those to length, and I will be sticking some beads on that, like I have this one here. Just got a couple of little beads on there. And I will also be putting some trim down the pages. And what I do is I'll just cut the trim reasonably close to the length. I'll use my fabric glue, and then I will stick that down. So it's taking shape. We've got our the cover to our inside, and then on this side we have the cover to our journal part. And you can stick little butterflies or flowers or anything you like on this once we get to this stage. I haven't made tags yet for the pockets, but what I will do is I will pop these tags onto this part of the journal. So this one I'm just literally going to tuck in there. Actually, I think these two, I'm not going to use that one in there. I'm going to pop that one in there. The pink falls out from the butterfly, and I'm going to pop this one the right way up on here, and I'm just going to grab one of these little copper paper. I love these copper paper clips. I don't like the silver ones very much unless they're decorated. I don't know why. I just have to use the copper ones. And then the back side of that paper clip, I'm just going to tuck that in there, so there's another little space for journaling. And I will finish. I don't want to put anything in here just yet while the glue's still wet. So, and that's probably not a good idea, sticking that in there, because that will stick. So that is my double-sided file folder journaly thingy. I really hope you liked it, and I do apologise so much for me being pants at tutorials. It's very stressful, so I do hope you watch it, and I do hope you give it a thumbs up, please, even if you don't like it. I'd really, really appreciate that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.